Ready when you are, CB. Do I start in Canada or Mexico?
It's me and Animal Kingdom.
We really hate us?
It's Theme Park Thursday Live with Dillo's Diz. Featuring Frank. And Jen.
This is Theme Park Thursday Live with Dillo's Diz. She is Jen.
Hello.
And I am Frank, and I feel like I have not seen that introduction in a long time. Obviously, the joke would be since last year. But,
I'm surprised you didn't put up the one of me and Steffers. If you were like, oh, which one is this? We should
no
play that.
spoilers, but guess who's going to meet Steffers in person at the end of the month, maybe?
That's right. I forgot about that. Oh, that's interesting.
Years in the making.
Every once in a while, I come across the picture of Steffers and Mr. Snidillo, and I laugh, and I go, I can't believe Mr. Snidillo is sitting here in a huggy picture with Steffers, and Frank still hasn't met him.
No, but this is it.
Yeah.
Before we went on live here, we were discussing the third topic and what the third topic would be, and I was discussing like the year ahead, keeping in mind, like, one of the things is I'm going to meet Steffers finally.
Yeah, that's exciting.
That is more to follow. I don't want to jinx it. Obviously, there'll be like a snowstorm that day, and Steffers would be like, "You conjured that snowstorm, and it'll be my fault." Hashtag blame Frank. We know how it goes.
You're just Dilloing it all. Hey, did you watch that Gilmore Girls link that I put in the Discord at our one channel Discord?
Yes.
About
expectations.
Yes. I was like, he just explained Dilloing. This is exactly what this is. It's perfect.
We have a guest on the podcast coming up. We might add this live stream to the episode that this guest will appear on, just as a kind of a lead-in. But we're going to be talking about all things Inside Out next week with our guest, Dr. Matt. And maybe we'll get to the bottom of some things.
Oh, maybe we'll ask him about that. Let us explain the art of Dilloing. What do you think?
Well, what do you have to say about this? And could they make a whole Pixar Inside Out sequel out of it? Or a series?
Already know that answer. Yeah.
The answer is yes. But this is Theme Park Thursday Live, where we take 3 topics or subjects that we did not discuss on the podcast proper. We dropped Theme Park Thursday, the podcast, earlier today with Theron Skis, who, will never stop blowing our minds with how in-depth into worlds he can go and just explaining the reason behind things, creating memorable worlds. The book is coming out soon. The League of Extraordinary Storytellers, the podcast, is over on his YouTube channel. So we have our conversation. Not only is it in the podcatchers for that episode, but we also have the video here on our YouTube channel to check out if you're not a podcast listener. I was talking to someone last week about how much we collectively may or may not listen to podcasts anymore. So I know personally, like, I used to listen to, 4 or 5 different wrestling podcasts every week. Yeah. And now even though I'm probably a bigger fan than ever of the product. Yeah. Zero podcasts I currently listen to in that genre.
I mean, that probably means that it's time to bring back Wrestling Wednesdays.
No, it's true. Everything is Wrestling Wednesday.
Yeah, because if you're not listening to them, but you're the biggest fan ever at this point, then maybe it means you should. Yeah,
obviously, trying to compare it to my childhood is, but in terms of what they're doing with the product. It's really super fascinating and interesting.
Mhm.
But this Theme Park Thursday Live is not about wrestling.
I will just say we have not recorded anything in a few weeks, and it's showing.
It's showing.
They're
We have 3 topics or subjects to discuss here that we not only did not discuss on this week's Theme Park Thursday. We mentioned one of these in brief last week with Lewis and Val. Yeah, we haven't recorded together in a while. So let's see how everything goes. Let's get right to it. Topic number 1. Next month, I will be in Disneyland for the first time. That being said, there is a lot of craziness going on in California right now. A lot of people I know who have been on this podcast before who are impacted. So we're just thinking about everybody out there.
Yeah.
We can't, the things that we have seen, that everyone has seen, it's
Yeah.
been insane. I
Yeah.
feel like it literally just took on a life of its own out there, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
That being said, last month I started doing the planning process for this trip in February. So we'll review that and with compassion, as it were, because there's just a lot going on. And one other thing we didn't talk about here is topic number 2. We both have now seen Moana 2. Have I seen Wish yet? I have not. But Moana 2 I have seen. And Jen and I will discuss a little bit about that. And maybe they will tie into wrestling because, how are we not going to talk about Moana 2 without talking about The Rock? And topic number 3, just for kicks, but I have a feeling I will still talk about some of the topic number 3 stuff I thought it was going to be. We'll run Disney for the Dillos. I don't know what that is. In the middle of writing that, I said to Jen, I can't believe how I can't see anymore. I have to put on my glasses. And I still botched the headline.
There it is.
Will Run Disney ever happen for the Dillos? Will Run Disney for the Dillos?
We'll run Disney.
That's what it says.
We'll run Disney. I don't know.
I feel like we've been open to it before in the brief mentions that we've had. Our friend Lexi will be down this weekend doing all the running. And
I think Natalie too, right?
Natalie's gonna be down there too with the Stride Sisters podcast.
Yep.
As the fledgling podcast that it is. Natalie and I have been going back and forth for a while about getting together so they can be on the podcast.
Yeah.
So we're still trying to work that out. But we'll run Disney for the Dillos. That's on the agenda. Those are the 3 topics.
Place your bets. If you're new here, you can choose what order you'd like to hear us present these items. I will just say as a side note, since you haven't seen Wish yet, if anyone has been in Target, let me know if this is happening in your Target too, because it's been going on for a couple of weeks in my Target where everything Wish related is very much on sale. Like 50 to 70% off on sale. And I'm like, did you just order too much and you haven't overflowed? Is it just nobody's buying anything? What is it exactly that is causing this clearance in the midst of like $30 for it? Oh, this is Wish. Oh, this is 70% off. Oh, okay. What is happening? So it's very interesting.
Yeah, this week we started watching the Skeleton Crew on Disney Plus, which is the new Star Wars series. We've only watched 1 episode so far, but we'll watch the rest. It continues to be a conversation I have in my head, especially how divisive the Star Wars fan base is about everything.
Yeah.
But and I'll mention it here, and it'll be a little bit part of topic number 1. Star Wars is still popular, and I can't help but think how popular the sequel trilogy will be in about 20 years for the kids who first saw The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
But just like the prequels were, where I was like the angry 20-year-old, and everyone, and now the kids who saw it, that's our movies. We have 3 topics with 18 subtopics. Disney Assembled podcast, who, by the way, will be on YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern. On
just,
the YouTube channel.
Just grab your drinks, grab all your snacks, just stay on YouTube for the night.
Just say, Troy, I'm assuming that's Troy. It could be Mimi. But we will be over at the resort between 8:30 and 9, assuming we're done at 8:30.
Right.
to
We're totally gonna wrap this up by 8:30. What do you mean?
with a quick edition of What's in the Attic over at DillowsDizResort.com. That, of course, is our Patreon with memberships beginning as low as $1 per month. But you can also join for free first.
Yes.
March Madness is coming up. Hashtag Dillows Madness.
We just finished last year's, so
it's time again, everybody. Oh my gosh.
Jeffers so far is the only one that voted, and that was before we said what the topics were, but he did 3-1-2. That's it. So I don't know if we just go with that.
Yeah, and I'll finish my thought to say I wonder if films like Wish and Raya and Soul and will be the movies everyone remembers in 20 years. You know, the impact that those movies have on everyone. There's a whole cluster of movies here in the last 5 years that I'm curious to see if, you know, people are nostalgic for Great Mouse Detective, which it's not out of the question, but Wish especially, I feel like people enjoyed, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's all interesting.
Marketing. That's what I think. What we say, topic number 3 here with 19 minutes to go. That means 6 minutes per topic or so.
We got it. No
Run
tangents.
Disney's happening in Walt Disney World this weekend. Will, Jen, and I could have edited this while we were talking. I didn't. Will Run Disney for the Dillows. Jen, will we ever do a Run Disney?
Oh, I mean, if you're asking, you know, my gut immediately does not yes end this. It does not. I don't know what that means. It doesn't yes end it though. I think in somewhere buried very deep in my mind is like, we have to do something. And then I think about just, you know, I'm tired and I would have to prep so much for this because I can barely open a jar at this point and I'm just very weak. And so I feel like I really have to train. I would probably have to meet up at a middle point with Lexi, which probably would be 10 minutes for each of us to meet at a middle point, but and just train with her. But you know, I don't feel like it's off the table, even though, like, when are we doing that? But I don't know.
Lexi and Jen training videos on our YouTube channel. Come on.
And that's before she teaches me the Paso Doble. So Dancing with the Stars version, because she explained what the real Paso Doble is, and it's not the Dancing with the Stars version, and I don't understand. So I need that version. Anyway.
So I'm not even going to suggest that will be, because all these other yes and she might have said yes and the end.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting that a year from now we would be able to do this. But all these other
this for many years.
And I'm not dismissing all these other things that happen throughout the year. I'm only talking about this weekend. A marathon weekend. I don't subscribe to those other ones.
What? All right, let's deep dive that. What's your hate with the other ones and your love for this one?
This is how it started. This is what it is. Those extras are they're unnecessary.
Right.
Except that they'd be 100,000 people running this weekend instead of spread out over the year.
Correct. Yes.
And the temperatures of this week, as you see in Central Florida, Jen, are not going to help your cause here if you wanted to run on this weekend. So I think the first thing is I have to get over the idea that maybe we wouldn't run on this weekend, because that's all I have in my brain. If I was going to run, it would only be on this weekend.
And by run, are you saying walk? Because I'm already thinking that I'm doing the 5K and nothing else, and I'm probably walking most of it.
I would be willing to do a 5 and a 10. And if the training for that, you know, like, I would have to think about whether I could do the half. I'm not doing a full marathon. No way.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I mean, that one is off the table. Jeffers is saying, isn't cold weather great for running? You don't want to run in the heat. And that, you know, that is a thought of mine of like, well, but this is better than something in the warmer months. However, I also know both of us, you know, Frank had asthma growing up, and I didn't. I know, is it? I don't know. It's we assume, and maybe from other it's a topic for another time. I didn't, but I do recall like the cold weather. If I was running around, Nanny Dillo would sometimes heat up a pot of boiling water and put my head over it
Oh,
with
sure.
the
Yeah.
for the steam,
Classic.
right?
Yeah.
And so, like, is that gonna happen to us? Are we gonna need
Yeah.
boiling water waiting for us at the end with steam to open up our lungs a little bit? Does that
Maybe.
happen to anybody else? Anybody else do that when
Yeah.
they're
Anybody else do that? Drop us a line. So in short, I would, if I really was gonna like try to put like a goal,
Uh-huh.
maybe in 2028 when it is 10th anniversary time, 3
Uh-huh.
years. See, in 3 years. Can we get to it within 3 years?
We're gonna be in better shape in 3 years than we are right
It
now.
gives us time, right? So we
Uh-huh.
can start now.
There's a lot of Lexi and Jen content in the next 3 years.
I mean, you can't do a year because it comes too quick, but then you gotta commit like this year. I'm not ready to commit this year.
We're never gonna be ready to commit. We said this, I don't know how many years ago. Maybe it was in the 2020, 2021 time where we were like, "You know what? Maybe in a year." And then I think we did say it, with 50 looming for you.
Mm.
And then, and now you're like, 3 more years.
I will never say no to
Uh-huh.
the idea of it, but
No to the
motivate
marathon, though. It's a no for both of us to the
in the
marathon.
full marathon, no. But I would be curious to see if I could get up to a half, but I need to. You say no. You say
I mean,
no.
good for you. That's great for you.
And
Whatever
then you're
brings you
out.
joy, that's great for you.
Yeah.
I'm not
You're
gonna pretend like I could get to that, no.
Yeah. Mhm.
Having never been a runner in my life. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna pretend.
Do you hear the 8-year-old B, 8-year-old A, excuse me,
8-year-old.
8-year-old B's
Yes.
birthday today?
Yes.
Do you hear her projecting her voice like she's on stage?
I do
Across
not
the room? Okay,
personally.
great. All I hear is
Um
ha ha in the background.
Oh, yeah, we did make that announcement that there's a change to your programs,
Yeah,
everyone.
we did.
Today, the 7-year-old becomes the 8-year-old. She will be known as 8-year-old B moving forward until 8-year-old A turns 9 next month.
Correct.
Yes.
Moana 2, which just keeps making buckets of money, it seems. And I think it's 5 years running that the original Moana is the most streamed movie like anywhere in the universe.
Mhm.
Which begs a lot of questions on my part when I read something like that about the first movie.
Yeah.
Moana 2, I think Jen, I know Mr. Snidillo feels a certain way, but Jen and I have some varying opinions on it, but I'll let Jen go first since she saw it first. Did Jen just freeze because she's on her computer? And she warned me that she would freeze, and she has. And she's sticking to, which means I have to talk about Moana 2 first. So we'll give Jen a couple of minutes here to get herself situated. Because 30 seconds before we went live, she was like, I am on the wrong computer. So, hi, everybody. It's me. It's Frank. Thanks for joining us here with the Frozen Jen on Theme Park Thursday Live. I enjoyed Moana 2. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed that it potentially led into Moana 3. I got crazy. I had nothing against it necessarily, but I got crazy beef with this decision to have Lin-Manuel Miranda not do the music for Hi, It's Me on the big screen for Moana 2. And I know he was busy with Mufasa. I am not going to see Mufasa. But the idea that you had this big of a movie, Moana, which continued to show its popularity via the streaming numbers over the years. Now, I don't know what the conversations were. I don't know what the behind the scenes are. Maybe Lin-Manuel Miranda didn't want to do another Moana movie. But the strongest aspect of Frozen 1 into Frozen 2 is that the music and the styles of the music and the songs is all against the motifs, is what I meant to say. The motifs of the music, how it supports the characters, it's very smooth from Frozen 1 to Frozen 2. No matter if you think Frozen 2 is less than Frozen 1, no matter how you feel, the fluidity, how it gently blends from Frozen 1 into Frozen 2 is 100% there, and thus make Frozen 2 a stronger movie than I think some people realize. Moana 1 into Moana 2, I will say this about the music. The next day, we were on a car ride. We listened to the whole album. Sounded great as an album. Within the movie, it was disjointed. And probably for a couple of different reasons. This idea that Moana 2 was first a streaming series on Disney Plus, which why? Why did as big as Moana was, why did anyone think that was a good idea? I don't know. It should have just, this kind of movie, this kind of IP should just be on a big screen, just like Frozen was. That should have been a no-brainer. It should have been, well, Moana, what else do we want to do with this? We just want to keep pumping out the movies. Now, if you want to counter that argument with Toy Story did well as shorts, did well as TV specials, and you want to counter even that more with Frozen did well as a holiday special, in between, because the Frozen holiday special is great. Frozen still has the music makers behind that. Moana needed that from one movie to the next, as we bring Jen back up on screen.
Hello.
So, Jen, I was mostly saying that I have a feeling that I enjoyed Moana 2 more than you did, but I'm not sure. Definitely more than Mr. Snidillo, but the music is definitely a hang up. In addition, you look at something like Frozen, the world of Frozen deserves to be on a big screen. And that holiday special that I just mentioned, was before Coco first. So they even were like, we're going to put this on the big screen. So I don't understand the even moving forward with the Disney Plus series before pivoting to a sequel. But with that, the music, we listened to it on a car ride. The songs were much better to me listening to them track by track by track as they were within the movie. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and I was frozen and didn't hear what you said, so who knows if I repeat anything you said, but I think one issue right off the bat, it didn't get a fair chance probably for us because we saw it after Wicked, and like what were we supposed to do? That was like it was days, it was probably a week after Wicked. So like
Right.
how are we coming off of that and seeing Moana 2? I think I just left the theater very like, okay, I don't know. It was fun. Like, it was one of those movies where I'm like, did we need the sequel? No, it didn't feel like that story needed to be told. Was it nice to see all the characters again? Of course. We love Moana. We love everybody. But then I'm realizing in recent days in the car, the kids have been asking for some of the songs, and they'll say the name of the song, which they're remembering. And I'm like, what is that? And they're like, from Moana 2. And I'm like, oh. And then 8-year-old B mentioned one of the songs, and we were playing it in the car, and I'm like, this is a Moana 2. Like, I really have zero recollection of the songs. And I'm like, okay, see, this is how I'll probably get back into it in order to maybe see it again once it's on Disney Plus. The 10-year-old wasn't that big of a fan of it. He likes the first one much better. And I think for the most part, 8-year-old B2, it's like very much about the first one, but they are starting to creep in some of the songs. However, we are still very Wicked heavy here, so it's also a tough competition. But yeah, I just, and I know it was supposed to be a series, and maybe that's why it felt a little lackluster. It felt a little straight to streaming type of movie, whatever.
Yeah, video is, yeah.
Yeah. And so it wasn't like something that stuck with me that I left the theater like, oh, that was amazing. I love that. They have to do more of these. I was like, okay, all right. I mean, I don't not like it. It was all right. But yeah.
Yeah, it's just confounding to me. And maybe they will spin it back the other way with the third movie. And again, I don't want to like slight the folks who worked on the music by any stretch, because I do think, like you're saying, like I'm saying, listening to the songs, great, enjoyable. It just, I think how they had to place it in the movie in order to pace the movie a certain way.
Yeah.
Very in and out. Whereas like even Maui's song, not the nice song he sang at the, the sentimental, whatever, however you want to phrase the song at the end, but the bootleg, you're welcome.
Yahoo, whatever that's
sudden, right, the Chihu song. Yeah. Like all of a sudden, if you're like, okay. And then I'm like, no, we were good for a little while there. And now I don't know where we are. But there were just those kind of moments, and not just with that song. That's an example, but but with all the songs.
Yeah.
Interesting. But don't treat Moana like this. No, Moana is, recognize how important Moana is to Disney. Yeah. Disney. Realize it.
It's all very interesting. Like just the deep dive you could do on all the movies and the reactions they all get and where Disney takes them and whatever else. It's interesting.
We have 4 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
I have reservations for Disney.
Yes.
Vasilia at ET Travel, who did our Universal trip, also worked on this. A local resident here that Mrs. Dillo is a big fan of. So shout out to Vasilia. And she took care of all like the 60-day out. So I have all the restaurants I want. I have park hoppers for 3 days. I have all the reservations I'm looking for. This after next week's episode of Theme Park Thursday, I think we'll be in a home stretch there to really focus on me going to Disneyland for the first time. But to say, I did a lot of, hey, what do you recommend? Hey,
going the wrong way.
Recommend out there. And so Blue Bayou, which is off the Pirates of the Caribbean, is on the list. Arrival day, dinner at Trader Sam's.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Very good.
We got I don't know how to say. Am I saying it right? Carthay. How am I saying Carthay Circle?
Everyone in the chat.
Yeah. So help me out. That for our second dinner in California Adventure, and then. There's a princess breakfast over at the Grand Californian on the departure morning, because I was like, I want to Trader Sam's is a no-brainer, but I wanted to make sure I saw the Disneyland Hotel, the Grand Californian, because we're staying at Pixar Place. So I wanted to, shift it out there. I did put in for an Oga's reservation because at first it's like, am I gonna go to Galaxy's Edge?
Yes.
To Lexi's point and to Dr. J's point, I think recently, and. That the rope drop crowd goes to Galaxy's Edge. Star Wars not popular anymore. It's terrible. Everybody hates it. to go on rides, right? So that opens up a lot of things in the morning. And I'm excited for that because I want to go on the Matterhorn and Indiana Jones, and like those are that's going to be my first too, right?
Yeah.
So that's great. But I was like, am I going to go all the way back there? But no, I have to see the difference. Between one Galaxy's Edge and the other. I got to experience that. Yeah. Must.
You got to be able to compare and contrast.
Yeah. So Oga's I have a reservation for on a Friday. I also have a Fantasmic package for the last day I'm in the park right now.
Interesting.
We'll see. I'm hoping to see Fantasmic on the first day. Then I don't have to, but I think it would be nice to get Fantasmic out of the way here. And not have to do it in Hollywood.
It would be nice if you walked away from it going, you know what? That's a pretty good show.
Pretty good show.
Not bad. And you're doing, are you doing the Lightning Lane over there in Disneyland?
Currently not doing the Lightning Lane. Got a little touring plans advice, and I'm pretty comfortable with the crowd level projected for the main park on the 3 days I'm there. California Adventure is a little high, so we'll see, I guess. We'll see how it goes, right? Because really for California Adventure, I want to do the Guardians Tower of Terror version, and then obviously Cars Land. So that one makes me a little weary, but if I rope drop, will it be okay?
Right.
So, and that was, we rolled the dice with that too, with when we went to Universal.
Mm-hmm.
We did pretty well by it, but it is that February President's Day week situation.
Mm-hmm.
Most East Coast people who have that week go to Florida.
Uh-huh.
Most other people everywhere don't really have that whole week. So
Right.
I'm hoping we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But yes, Jen.
Lewis is asking, how long will you be there and will you be going back?
All right. Am I going back already?
Well, I think he's trying to figure out your plan, considering you're like, I don't know if I'll do this. I don't know if I'll do that. Do you have many days to see all the things? Are you okay not seeing some things? Do you think you'll end up going back at this point?
Here's what I'll say.
Yeah.
I have a 3-day park hopper.
Mm-hmm.
There's already rumbling, and this is Mrs. Dillo saying that she is excited for the compact nature
Mm-hmm.
of the site.
Yeah.
And is comparing it to what she really enjoyed about her Universal trip, which was, Epic will change that. But the 2 parks being right there, just taking a quick boat and having the decision, Hogwarts Express back and forth. If you didn't want to, it was all very, it wasn't vast this. So she's excited about that prospect, I think. So, the flights is what kills you. I was saying to Jeffers last week, the flights is obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really where I'm at with that. So more to follow on next month's Disneyland trip. Don't forget, if you're listening to the audio, if we dropped it as an audio,
drop it
in the future, just make sure you go subscribe over at Disney Assembled, because they will be on tonight at 9:00. And so you might want to just go back and watch that live after hearing this on an audio, or maybe you're watching this video later and then like, oh, Disney Assembled, let me go watch their live.
Yeah,
after.
for sure.
Things like that.
Yes.
But for us right now, we're going to do about a 20-minute post show over at DillowsDisResort.com. That's our Patreon, with memberships beginning as low as $1 per month. Hashtag Dillows Madness coming soon. I got a bag full of stuff that I pulled out of the attic last week. I put a couple of things that were not in the attic into the bag to share, but the bag and some of the items in the bag were in the attic. Why don't you just take that? Just take that whole thing.
Just take all of it.
Just take the whole thing.
Can't you use it?
You could show just content. You're starting to say content, so we know we're getting through. And don't forget, we got our hot ones. Mr. Snidilla and I did the hot ones challenge, which we are encouraging everyone to send their own favorite hot sauce to us in the future, because the hot ones challenge was so successful for us. So of course you can do that. Send a bottle of hot sauce. Dillows Dids, 55 Gerard Street, number 987, Huntington, New York, 11743.
If you send hot sauce to that P.O. box, please let me know so I can remember to go pick it up in a timely manner. It doesn't sit in the P.O. box for too long.
So make sure you check out the podcast today with Aaron Skis. Go pre-order your Creating Memorable Worlds book now. We got the video with Aaron here on our YouTube channel. Until next time, or at the resort, she's Jen. I'm Frank. Bye-bye.
Deuces.